Hi, I'm here with the Mass readings for Monday, June 25th, 2018. Monday of the 12th week in Ordinary Time. The first reading is from the second book of Kings, chapter 17. Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, occupied the whole land and attacked Samaria, which he besieged for 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, king of Israel, the king of Assyria took Samaria and deported the children of Israel to Assyria, setting them in Halah, at the Habor, a river of Gozan, and the cities of the Medes. This came about because the children of Israel sinned against the Lord, their God, who had brought them up from the land of Egypt, from under the domination of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and because they venerated other gods. They followed the rites of the nations, whom the Lord had cleared out of the way of the children of Israel, and the kings of Israel, whom they set up. And though the Lord warned Israel and Judah by every prophet and seer, "Give up your evil ways, and keep my commandments and statutes, in accordance with the entire law, which I enjoined on your fathers, and which I sent you by my servants the prophets," they did not listen, but were as stiff-necked as their fathers, who had not believed in the Lord their God. They rejected his statutes, the covenant which he had made with their fathers, and the warnings which he had given them, till, in his great anger against Israel, the Lord put them away out of his sight. Only the tribe of Judah was left. The word of the Lord. The Responsorial Psalm. Today's Responsorial Psalm is Psalm number 60. The response is, "Help us with your right hand, O Lord, and answer us. Help us with your right hand, O Lord, and answer us. O God, you have rejected us and broken our defenses. You have been angry. Rally us. Help us with your right hand, O Lord, and answer us. You have rocked the country and split it open. Repair the cracks in it, for it is tottering. You have made your people feel hardships. You have given us stupefying wine. Help us with your right hand, O Lord, and answer us. Have not you, O God, rejected us, so that you go not forth, O God, with our armies? Give us aid against the foe, for worthless is the help of men. Help us with your right hand, O Lord, and answer us. Help us with your right hand, O Lord, and answer us." Today's Gospel is the Gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 7, verse 1 to 5. Jesus said to his disciples, "Stop judging, that you may not be judged. For as you judge, so will you be judged, and the measure with which you measure will be measured out to you. Why do you notice the splinter in your brother's eye, but do not perceive the wooden beam in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, 'Let me remove that splinter from your eye,' while the wooden beam is in your eye? You hypocrite! Remove the wooden beam from your eye first. Then you will see clearly to remove the splinter from your brother's eye." The Gospel of the Lord. Here are some thoughts on today's scripture. We begin today the last chapter of the Sermon on the Mount. Stop judging, that you may not be judged. That is by God. Jesus today touches on an issue in which very few of us can claim innocence, passing judgment on others. Sometimes we call it gossip, which seems harmless enough, and very often it is relatively harmless. And yet at times we can spend a long time tearing other people apart, revealing to others information about people which they do not need to know. What Jesus says is so true. We focus on a tiny speck in someone else's eye, while there is a large beam in our own eye. In fact, that is probably why we are so fond of indulging in this exercise. Our purpose is not so much to bring another person down as to bring ourselves up. But, as Jesus says, this is a kind of hypocrisy. Given our own faults, what right have we to sit in judgment of another? So often, our judgments are based on purely external or incomplete evidence. We condemn acts while being quite ignorant of the motives behind the acts. Only God is in a position to make an accurate judgment of a person's strengths or weaknesses. Linked with all this is the fact that 9 times out of 10, we would never make our criticisms face to face. This proves our hypocrisy because we make no effort to help the person make the changes we would like to see. Removing that beam from our eye is another way of saying that before we make any evaluation of another, we need to be sure that our view is totally free from any prejudice or bias. We do have a responsibility to draw attention to things that people do wrong, especially if others or they themselves are hurt. But it is a responsibility we often shirk. Gossiping behind their backs is so much more fun, but in the long run, it helps no one. Thanks for listening. Have a blessed day.